Hey everybody, it's me, Zach, that's Potato, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody! Hi, hello! It's me, and it's Zach, and I am back, and we are here to once again dive into just a fascinating human on the internet named Darlene Michaud. And in general, that's kind of gonna be, I don't know, my general vibe is just diving into fascinating things on the internet that interest me, that feel unique, different, and I don't know, just something special to me. So I did get a lot of comments on the last Darlene video that were like, I don't know who this is. I don't know who this is. That is fine. I will always try to do my best to give you a background about who I'm about to cover, what I'm about to cover, whoever, whatever, and also provide you with some links in the event that like I have covered the person before. And Darlene is somebody that I have covered extensively, primarily on my Twitch channel, but I did cover her for a little bit over here on the main channel as well from time to time. So there's a lot to discover about her. I have two playlists, one playlist of all the videos where I've covered her here on this channel, and also a playlist of the reactions that I've done on Twitch that were re-uploaded to my second channel called Zachary also. Now I did just upload a video reacting to a video of hers on Thursday where she was going back into this like key part of her lore, or at least a key part of her lore as it pertains to how I discovered her. And she is now talking about this lawsuit that she had with this moving company. Since I already gave kind of a little bit of background about her in that video, I'm not gonna go super in depth because that was pretty recent, so I would encourage you to go watch that because it's also gonna provide a lot of context for this video. But the long story short is poop.
My pooping. And it's not constipation, it's because the meat comes out in my pee. Little tiny puppy poops, that means you did a good job.
Bang cutting.
I don't know if this qualifies as a steak knife. Oh, look, we did.
And in general, Darlene's just a little bit of a Karen to some extent. She does carnivore, and she's a crafter. She actually just showed a video, or just uploaded a video about Darlene Michaud. She did a junk journal, in case that's of interest to you. So basically, in the last video, what had happened was Darlene came on and she was like, hey, remember, for some of you who've been around for a really long time, do you remember how I got really upset and made like 1,200 videos about this moving company problem? Well, let me rehash all of that for you real quick. And oh, by the way, the reason I took down all of those videos is because I was getting sued for defamation. And I won that case, by the way, and I spent a lot of money to maintain my right to be able to talk about it on this platform, because this is my job where I want to talk about all the ways that various companies have wronged me. And so I paid a lot of money to maintain that right. I'm not going to tell you how much money because I want you to stick around for the next video, but I spent a lot of money on it and I won, and here we are. And here are some old clips. That's basically what you missed on Glee. So I'm hoping today we will watch this video. This is the second of 3 videos that she currently has on her YouTube channel about the moving situation. And this one is called How the Moving Company's $50,000 plus lawsuit backfired on them. So I can't wait to hear what Miss Darlene has to say about her beef with International Van Lines. I'm really excited about it. It did also occur to me in thinking about like the concept of this company suing her and stuff, like court records like that are public, so it doesn't really make sense to me that she couldn't say the name of the company that was suing her, because it's like, you can look that shit up. You can look that shit up just like searching her name for court cases, you know? But anyways, I digress. Let me shut the fuck up and let's just get to, shall we?
Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene.
Hi.
I am back to talk about the moving company again.
Let's
I'm
go.
going to be doing that for several months, and I'm going to explain to you in this video why I will be doing that.
Listen, Divas, if she really does this for several months, first of all, I'm unclear on how she could actually bring new information to that conversation for several months. Like, the lawsuit is over. The lawsuit's over, right? So what more is there to say? But also, if she continues to do this for several months, we're not necessarily going to keep up with all of that. Like, this by no means is becoming a Darlene Michaud channel, but I am very invested in this, and some of you seemed very invested after my last video. So I do want to see what she has to say right now, because this is all very fresh. But if she's still talking about this in June, July, August, girl, pack it up. Pack it up. I think you've gotten your money back from making all this content about it.
Before I get started, go watch the first video.
I already
There's a
did.
link in the description of this
Yes.
video, and I'll also have it on the end screen so you can get caught up. If you have been with me since Maine, you probably want to skip this series because I will be repeating some of the stuff that I said.
Sure. I would never want to skip this because I miss the lore. I miss the sacred texts. Everybody needs to know about this. This is how I found you, Darlene. Before the sardines, before the beef piss, before all of that, there was Darlene Michaud, the woman upset about the moving company.
How stressful it was and things like that. But you might want to join along on this one too. It's not going to be as intense or as often. I'm just trying to fill you in now on this lawsuit and what I'm looking at moving forward.
Okay.
First, I want to explain to you, in case anybody was wondering, it says I was sued for $50,000 plus. I thought the amount was $50,000, but it seems to me now that was like the minimum. It was going to be that range, 50 and up. So they could have, I guess, sued me for more than that.
Great. Thank you so much for that clarification. I was so curious.
And I'm looking at what my lawyer has been telling me. Nothing that I'm reading to you at all right now is from the agreement. It's just my questions back and forth with my lawyer. And she explained to me that I could say 50,000 plus. So that's why I have that little plus sign in there, because I don't want to say something that's false. And yeah, so I'm being very careful.
She said, I don't want to say something that sounds false, but I do want to make it sound like they were trying to get as much money out of me as possible. I see you. She basically said, I want to be able to make this a video that people want to click on, which she does not shy away from the fact that, like, she is here to make money. YouTube is a business for her. In fact, actually, like, YouTube is her full-time job, and if you don't know, the only other thing that I think she regularly does, well, a couple other things that she regularly does to make income is she does have a Patreon where it's unclear to me, like, what the perks are outside of, I know that there was some drama once upon a time because one of the perks is that she just provides a link to free books on, like, Amazon or Kindle or something, like free ebooks, and that she claims is, like, a very big perk of the Patreon, but it also is seemingly something people could find on their own, but she's just doing that step for them of, like, finding it. The other main part of her business, and I think she does use Patreon to help with this too, but the other thing is that she does is, like, she cuts fabric for people to use for quilts, and she sells it on eBay. And I don't really know a lot about that, but it does seem to be a very profitable business for her. She calls it fat quartering, or they're fat quarters or something like that. I'm sure if y'all are in fabric spaces or, like, quilting spaces or things like that on the internet, you know what that means. But she does use her Patreon, I think, to give folks who are in her Patreon a heads up of when she's going to be putting, like, new fabric on eBay or things like that, I think. Don't quote me on it.
When I left you guys, you knew that I got sued, but you didn't know how this backfired on them.
Tell me.
I consider it a backfire. If this was me suing someone and it ended like this ended, I would consider that it backfired on me. So I'm looking at it, my point of view, my opinion, I feel like this backfired on them because they sued me for $50,000 or more. But I have permission to tell you this.
Ooh, come on, let's go! When she says it like that, when she's like, I have permission to tell you this special thing, it kind of makes me excited. Well, clearly, as evidenced by my reaction.
I'm the one that's going to be getting payments.
Let's fucking go. Boss
So
babe.
backfired. They sued me. I give them nothing. They give me something.
Come on, boss babe. What you might not know, what she is seemingly leaving out of this, in the original videos about all of this, she actually shared how the moving company fully did offer her money at some point for, like, all the troubles that she had or, like, all the issues that came along with the move. They actually did offer her money at one point, but they wanted that money in return for her silence. They wanted her to stop talking, and she refused to do that, so she didn't get that money. And it's interesting because it started out, it seemed like she really just wanted the money, but what became increasingly clear to me, at least, was that she wanted the money and she wanted to be able to keep running her mouth. Darlene is very much the type of person... Okay, all right, Diva. She's very much the type of person who wants to have her cake and eat it too.
And the only reason I can think of that they would do that, again, my opinions, wait, I gotta stay signed in because I'll be looking at this here. I could just leave it signed in. The only reason I can think of that they would file a lawsuit to try to get money out of me, but be willing to end up paying money, is because they thought... maybe, this is a scenario that's possible, they thought that I would be so scared and would just go running. I never even contacted them. My brother said, contact them, just make a deal with them. Don't even get a lawyer involved. I didn't even do that. I knew that I did not want to sign any confidentiality agreement. And I don't like saying confidentiality agreement all the time because it's kind of long. So I'm going to say CA. CA is a confidentiality agreement. I don't know if that's an official way to, shorten it, but that's what I'm going to be doing in my videos.
Okay, great.
I knew I didn't want to sign anything. I knew that they would make me sign something. So I called a lawyer. And I am going to tell you about how I found out that this lawsuit was there and what I went through even just trying to find a lawyer. Ironically, the first one I called is the one I ended up going with. A whole lot in between that I didn't...
Is that ironic? Is that the definition of irony? Listen, I honestly kind of confused about the definition of irony myself. I think Alanis Morissette really ruined it for a lot of us because ain't nothing in that song that she sings, ain't no parts of it ironic at all, not even a little bit. But I do love that song and I do love Alanis Morissette's music, but that's besides the point. But is it ironic that, like, the first person you called is the lawyer you ended up going with? Or is it just interesting? Is it just something that's like, oh, maybe you wouldn't expect to happen?
Didn't choose. So I got a lawyer on board and I made it very clear to her that I did not lie. And I've even realized now, I've learned that there's a difference between something that's false and something that's a lie. And I never got the real definition as to why those are different. But I'm, thinking a lie is something maybe that you know is not the truth. You're not telling the truth on purpose. False is something that I could have said that was false, not intended at all to be a lie. Like if I said I got sued for $50,000, that wasn't a lie. That's what I really thought because that's what I saw in the lawsuit paperwork. But it was false because it's $50,000 or more. Okay, there's a difference there. I like all this shit.
Okay, all right. Okay, education direct Darlene Michaud. Thank you so much for... What the fuck is education direct? Is that a commercial? Get free education at education.org. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? There's some kind of education commercial. I think that's what my mind, like, education direct. Boop-a-doop-a-doop. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I already have lost track of my thoughts, so let me edit up to this point.
Okay.
Okay, so far, I let you know that I think that they were shocked that I didn't jump.
Does she edit her videos in real time? Does she film a little bit of it, edit it, and then come back and start recording more? That's a fascinating process. Maybe I should try that.
All over them and say, I'm so sorry, oh my God, I'll never speak of you again. Please, 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 please don't sue me. Please, please, I'll sign whatever. I didn't do that. They knew. Over the 2.5 years that this dragged out, they knew that I was willing to go to trial. I knew it. Let's say that. I knew I was willing. What they knew, I don't know. I can't speak for that.
I do think, like, a company like that probably thinks that just, like, any old person on the internet or whatever that's complaining about them is probably not going to want to proceed with, like, any kind of financial legal battle. And I think they just, like, didn't realize they got the wrong one with Miss Darlene Michaud, because one thing about her, Miss Ma'am is stubborn as fuck. She is stubborn. She's gonna get her way, divas.
But I'm guessing they did not expect me to hold out this long.
Exactly.
Because I don't think they thought that little old me would be willing to spend the money I spent on my defense.
How much?
They probably thought she's never going to continue with this. And I will disclose how much I spent in another video.
No. I'm gonna stop you right there, Darlene. I'm gonna stop you motherfucking right there. I'm gonna stop you right there because you told me. Well, maybe she didn't say explicitly that it would be this video. She just said, I think maybe she just said in another video, I'll tell you how much. Maybe it was my own brain making some assumptions that it would be this video. Now, it really probably better be the next video, because I think the next video is called Waiting Patiently for My First Check, as in from the moving company. So, hopefully in that one she'll disclose. But let's be fucking serious. That's really why I clicked on this video today, divas. It really is.
Guys, following along here. I was willing to go to trial the whole way through. I also had an anti-SLAPP lawsuit that I wanted to hit them with. An anti-SLAPP, you can look it up. It is ANTI-SLAPP. I can't remember what that all stands for, but you can go look it up. Basically, you use that against someone that you believe filed a frivolous lawsuit. To me, this was a frivolous lawsuit from day one all the way through, and I still believe it now, because they, in the 2.5 years, never showed any proof of a lie, and they certainly did not prove damages.
Yeah, so they were suing for defamation, which I do believe you have to, like, the two biggest things about defamation from my, like, basic ass, not a lawyer ass knowledge that I have, is that you have to be able to prove that, like, the person was in fact lying about you or your company or whatever entity. And then you also have to be able to prove that there were, like, damages done because of that lie. So I think both of those things have to exist for it to actually be defamation.
If someone sues somebody for defamation, slander, libel, they have to prove that the person actually not only lied, but also they have to prove that it caused them damages.
Y'all, if you've been around for a while, which I'm guessing is most of you, but if you've been around for a while, this is a classic moment where it's like, Zach, if you would have just shut the fuck up and let her keep talking. If you would have just let her keep talking, diva. She went on to explain what you just said.
They didn't have that, I don't believe. If they did, they would have been wise to show that up front.
Right.
Right up in the beginning, see, we caught you with this and we caught you with that, and here's all the damages. And there was nothing brought to my attention. I don't think to my lawyer's attention either, because I'm pretty sure she would have shared that information with me. So I think they basically had nothing. They were counting on me being chicken shit and just running so fast to try to make this all good. But they got me wrong, and I'm surprised, because I would think by the way I talked in all my other videos that I'm sure they were watching at the time.
Absolutely.
How I was, dead set against signing anything then.
Absolutely, though. I really don't know why they thought that she would just do nothing, because if you watched those videos in real time, you knew how serious Darlene was about the situation. Darlene was not fucking playing. She really wasn't. So I think, sometimes I think, like, companies that have a lot more money than just, like, individual people, I think sometimes they think that they can, like, get one over on regular old people because they have more resources, money, etc. But again, Darlene is a stubborn-ass person. She is stubborn as fuck.
You would think that they would have caught on and said, okay, this woman means business, let's not even mess with her. And I do have other stories that I want to tell you, how the irony of how I was this close to just being quiet. I've got a story about that. And I was a little bit too late. They had filed already, and that dragged them through all of this. It's like, oh my God. And I do feel that they got dragged through this. Not just me. I got dragged through it. But a sick and twisted part of me was very grateful to experience this. I know that sounds crazy, and I know if my lawyer's watching this, she's like, what?
That's crazy. That's crazy, but that's exactly something Darlene Michaud would say. That's exactly something she would say. She'd be like, I actually loved it. It was a great experience. Loved getting dragged through the legal system. Loved it. Loved it. It was so good. What a great learning experience that was. Girl, please. I think she loved it because she just likes to be at odds with people. She just likes to be fighting with people when she thinks she's in the right, and she loves getting the satisfaction at the end of hearing, I was right, I was correct. She really does. I really believe that's why she enjoyed the experience. I don't know what she's gonna say she liked about it, but that would be my guess. That she just loves a fight and she loves being right.
But I knew once the storm started to clear, I would be able to find the good in this. And the good is that I did stick to my guns as much as I could. And I'll explain that again in an upcoming video why I ended up signing anything at all. I pretty much got what I wanted, except I'm not allowed to say their name.
International
and that does drive me crazy.
No, that is really crazy because like I said, I'm sure you can go just check out the public record and find who sued her.
I could have held out even for more, I believe, now, but the risk was getting to be really, really big. And I thought, okay, I've taken enough risk up until this point. Maybe we can just settle this, and then moving forward, I'll find a way to feel better about this. Of course, I feel better being able to talk to you guys about this.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a series continuing on for at least 5 months, maybe more.
5 fucking months is how long she wants to drag this shit out. Imagine I do just become a Darlene Michaud moving channel, reaction channel situation type of deal. And for the next 5 months, this is the only content you get. It's just me watching Darlene talk about this goddamn move. Are you so serious right now? Are you so serious, Darlene Michaud? Oh my gosh.
Because what they have to pay me is going to be done in 5 monthly payments. I'm going to say like the 3rd week of each month. The first payment is supposed to come in April, this month, around the 3rd week. If they were to skip a payment, there are consequences. I'll just say that. If I were to breach the agreement, there are consequences. Like if I say their name,
for sure,
accidentally. That's why I'm very careful with the way I talk, because I was so used to saying it repeatedly.
That's why I still know, because I watched all the original videos where she said it ad nauseum over and over and over and over again.
Sometimes I think I might say it, but so far so good. When I asked my lawyer probably 100 times, that's an exaggeration, but maybe close, about what I could talk about here, she said I was very interested in being able to talk about the payments. And she said, you can absolutely bring your audience along for the series. You can post updates when payments arrive, as long as you don't disclose amounts or name whoever.
Wait, I thought you were going to tell me how much, though. Now you're saying you can't tell me the amount? I want to know. Well, I think what she said is she was going to talk about how much maybe not how much they were going to pay her, but I think she was going to disclose how much she spent in legal fees or something like that. Maybe that's what she said.
Any identifying details. And so I'm going to be reporting every time a payment arrives. So we're just going to see what happens, right? So make sure you at least check in when I have my payment received or payment not received video. And if you guys think this is all petty and all that stuff,
I do.
What they did to me through that whole move, and not just to me, to others before me, during me, and after me. The same things that I was told are still being told to others. This is why I wish so much I could name them, because they haven't stopped doing what they're doing.
No worries. I'll do it for you. The company's name is International Van Lines, Darlene. The company is called International Van Lines, and they are doing what they did to her, before her, during her, and after her.
Doing, and that just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. And I remember one time just copying and pasting to my lawyer and said, look, this just happened to them. This is why I fought this. I still wish, though, I regret not going
Darlene Michaud is a hero. I don't know if y'all realize that, but she's a hero. She's a martyr. Although, honestly, here's the thing. At the time, she also left negative reviews on all of their all of the places on the internet where you could leave reviews for a company, right? Like, I think she even contacted the Better Business Bureau about them, if I recall correctly. So it's just like, I don't have a problem with leaving a review. I think reviews like that exist for a reason. I am curious if, like, people are going to YouTube, maybe people who are really vetting companies that they use, but do you think people are going to YouTube and just, like, somehow stumbling upon Darlene Michaud's YouTube channel and being like, I am so glad I found this. I now know I'm never going to work with this moving company. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. She really does want to be considered a hero in this situation, though. I feel like the reviews she left on the internet for these companies is enough.
Trial, but it was going to be very risky. Very risky. It could have cost me way more than what I already paid out of pocket. The good thing about the trial, from the way I understand it, win or lose, if they would have won or they would have lost, I would have been able to speak their name. Ooh, that was very, very important to me, and I was, willing to take huge losses just to be guaranteed that I'd be able to speak their name and use their name again. But I also don't trust everything. I learned a lot. I mean, the legal system is not for justice. It's really just to settle, whether it's outside of court or inside of court. And like my lawyer said, you walk into a courtroom, and it's like walking into a casino. You just don't know if you're going...
Yeah, Diva. The U.S. justice system, legal system is very flawed. Very, very, very flawed.
To win or lose, even if your case is perfectly clear. I feel like mine was. I believe my lawyer feels like mine was, because she fought hard, too, for me. It's just a risk, and it would have been a lot of money. There was even a risk, I don't really think there was a risk, of me having to pay them something. But with no proof of damages, I find that would be very hard to believe. So it's all a hot mess. But I would have been able to supposedly use their name, but I just didn't want to go through all of that. That could have taken a lot longer. It certainly would have been a huge expense and no guarantees. This way with the agreement, I couldn't use their name, but I was guaranteed money unless they...
You were guaranteed money to begin with, Diva. You really were. I mean, it sounds like maybe she might have milked them for more money than maybe what they were initially offering. I don't know. That's my inferring. I'm inferring here that she maybe got way more money than they initially offered. But they offered her money once upon a time. They really, truly did. I also am trying to figure out how this particular video is providing us with any new insight that the last video didn't. She's really going to get me to click on one more video about this, isn't she?
But, there is a set amount there waiting to come to my mailbox in 5 monthly installments. I do hope, though, by me doing this series...
I love when she makes herself laugh. I love when she makes herself laugh like that.
...is that moving companies will take a look at how they treat their customers. I'm not the only one that I'm sure has gotten sued for defamation. I'm just probably the only one who's putting it out there so publicly on YouTube. I feel like I've done things probably the smartest way. I fought it for a long time, and I think that was a smart thing to do, because now in the end, there is no winners or losers in a settlement or agreement. I, though, feel like I won, because I won my right to speak.
There's no winners or losers, everybody. Nobody wins or loses, but if it were to be the case that there were winners and losers, it'd be me. Me. But the me here is Darlene, not literally Zachary Marie.
I hate that I had to fight for my right to speak. It just makes me very sad that something like this had to go on this long. I don't understand that. To me, when things were filed and there was no proof at all, no evidence at all, to me it should have gotten thrown out. But I'm not a lawyer, and so I don't know how all that stuff runs. I'm just a person, I think, with a lot of common sense. And not dumb. I'm not a stupid woman.
I have a lot of common sense. Like, for instance, it's common sense that when you only eat beef and butter, that just melts and turns into pee, and you just have little tiny baby rabbit poops. I'm a woman of common sense.
A lot of reading about defamation and all that stuff when I started talking about all this. I can't handle how things worked out. I can only look at my choices that I made, and I do not regret the whole movie series that I did. I will never regret mentioning their names back then.
Amen.
I certainly am not going to regret this series.
Work.
Even if they want to start saying, hey, she's not supposed to say this or that. Whatever. I'm going to deal with whatever. I'm doing what's good for me right now.
Yes.
Finally, I regret that I took the videos down. I didn't have to take my videos down. I could have left them up there, but of course my lawyer's going to advise me. It's probably, shows good faith if you take them down. 2.5 fucking years. And I'm also going to come back and show you the analytics on what that series was doing for me. It dropped immediately when I had to stop talking. I didn't have to.
I'm sure it did, because to be quite honest, when I first found you, that's all I was tuning in for. That's all I wanted to watch, Diva. So I imagine it did fuck up your analytics. You probably could show some damages from all of this.
I did, because I wasn't going to try to dig a hole deeper than I was already in, right? Because that wouldn't make sense. I'm not a stupid woman. Let's go back to that. So I did as I was asked to do, but boy, a couple times I told my lawyer, I'm talking right now. Because I was not happy that I had to keep my mouth shut through all of this. But now I get to talk, yay! And I guess that's it. I'm going to stop now. I really want to try to keep these videos short because I want to touch on a lot of different little topics, things that I learned, things that...
well, damn girl, if you're going to stretch it out for 5 months, I would imagine you do need to keep the videos short. For sure, for sure.
I think went well, things that I think didn't go well, and it's just going to be healing. I'm going to now start to release all the stress from the past 2.5 years, really 3.5 years, because I did go a whole year just with, the whole move and all that shit. That was stressful too. It was even stressful just leading up to the move, calling all the different movers and all that stuff. It was a wow. I can't believe I survived all that. All right, that's enough. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. I'll be back with more soon. Bye.
Of course. All right. Well, I'm kind of a little disappointed we didn't get the answer about what, how much she paid in legal fees and things like that. So that's kind of disappointing. But you know what? It will, if she's going to draw it out for a little bit, why not draw it out over here on this channel as well? So, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for being on this journey with me. I really appreciated it. Appreciate you being here. And that's all I got for today. So make sure, if this is your first time on my channel, that you click subscribe. You hit the bell button so you get notifications. You can leave me a comment, hit like, click share. Follow me on my social media, get a cameo, whoever, whatever. But thanks so much for being here today. I hope you had a good time. I sure did. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!